talking about malt on American Beer TV. Malt is what gives beer its fermentable sugars, which then gets turned into alcohol, which makes us feel nice and happy when we're drinking our favorite beverage. Typically, brewers are going to use two-row malted barley, like a pale malted barley, for its fermentable sugars. I drew a little diagram of kind of what it looks like. This is a kernel blown up and chopped in half after the malting process. Maltsters, after harvest, they're going to take that grain and they're going to heat it up and actually germinate the grain so that it can grow another plant. So in that process, it fills the inside of the grain kernel with enzymes and proteins and starches, which the brewer then takes and converts that into sugar by a process called a mash. So it looks like a giant bowl of like oatmeal or porridge or something. It's really funky. It's like really loose, big. It smells like sweet grape nuts. It's really cool. But what's happening is, it's great, is that starch that's created by the maltster is then converted into fermentable sugar. So, and once that sugar conversion has taken place, the brewer is going to wash out all of that grain, and what's going to be left behind is just the hull or the husk of the grain. And into the boiler goes all this sweet, what we call wort. And then at that point they can boil it and add the hops and all that good stuff to it. Another thing that's really important to know about malt is the roasting process of malt. After the malt has been gone through its malting process, you can roast malt and create different degrees of roasting the malt, so different degrees of color. Some of them will get you like a caramely flavor, all the way to like a stout, which is like a black patent malt, which is really, really super black, like you would roasted coffee. Is a very similar process. And the more you roast the grain, the less fermentable sugar it's going to have. So some of the, like a black patent malt is like this really tiny little black little nugget, and if you break it open, it's just black through and through. So that's going to give the color and a lot of the flavor to some of those stouts or porters or browns and those type of beers that have a little more color to them. That's where that's coming from. Different specialty grains are also going to add a lot more flavor, and that are used in small amounts, but it all goes back to malted barley, and that's you know, especially with American craft beer, the all grain beers are all getting their fermentable sugar from two-row barley. Some of the wheat beers are getting them from malted wheat, but they're still using a large amount of malted barley in the beer. So this should give you a good idea of what we're talking about when we're talking about roasted malts or different types of grains. A lot of that's coming from this malting process that I'm showing you here.